Hello, I'm Linda, and this is No Frills ASMR. I know I have a lot of what might appear to be junk on the table here, but they're props. They're props. Because I have a special guest today. Everybody say hi to Greg.
Hello. It's been a while since I've been on your channel.
It has been a while.
Yeah, it's been a bit. Yeah,
Oh, I've missed you. Just haven't hardly had a moment to talk.
I'm back.
So, speaking of the name Greg
Yeah,
and the name Linda,
yeah, very 1960s,
70s,
60s and 70s names.
that just aren't around anymore. I don't know if anybody names their kid Linda or Greg in this day and age. There's some names that have gone out of fashion.
Yeah, they were definitely, well, Linda was definitely
That
popular.
was the 50s, 60s Linda.
Linda was really popular
I was
in
on
the 40s,
the end of the Linda.
40s, 50s.
Yeah.
Greg was popular during Gregory during the 60s. Yeah.
Most
70s.
Lindas I know are older than I am. I'm probably the youngest of the Linda age group.
Right.
I was born in 1970.
I was born in 1965.
65.
So we're 5 years apart.
Yeah.
We both grew up in Detroit area. Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up in Dearborn.
Yeah, I was in Royal Oak before it was like, if you're familiar with Royal Oak now, it was nothing like that in the 70s. That was not how it was. In fact, when I go back to Royal Oak, I don't even know where I am. I don't recognize
don't
it
recognize
at
it.
all. Like at all. I don't even. I'll drive through and go, what?
So we were thinking, like, the time period that we grew up in, as kids or as teenagers, compared to like what younger people today are experiencing just growing up.
This is actually something I've had commenters ask, to talk about what it was like growing up during the time we grew up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there is some interest in that, or nostalgia for people who are our age.
When you think of like growing up, what age range are you thinking?
Well,
because I have an idea in my head.
Well, for this particular video, I think there are two videos could be made here.
Okay.
And one is a childhood. For me, that's the 70s, very early 80s. I think teenage years, which for me starts in about 85, 84. I was 14 in 84 to that would be teen. I think that might be a separate video. But I don't know, maybe not.
I was thinking something a little different.
Okay, what are you thinking?
When I think of like growing up, I think of like age 10 to 20.
Okay, see, that's a little bit older than I was thinking, but okay. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of years.
Because when you're 10 years old, then you're 11, 12, and you're a teenager, that's the time period where you really start to get, involved in things and doing things, and you're really growing up. That between like age 10 and becoming.
I have so many memories from like the Star Wars era, which started in what year? 70?
77.
I was only 7 years old. But okay, yeah.
Oh, well, a little bit before age 10, maybe, yeah. I'm not talking about like growing up like age 5 or 6, because I don't.
Do you?
No, I don't.
What? You don't know how to play Cat's Cradle?
I never played it.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you learn something new every day.
I bring this up only because this was, and I haven't done it in so long, I don't know if I remember how, but this was the most popular thing for girls to do on the playground when I was in elementary school. You'd get your string and you'd play Cat's Cradle, and all the girls knew you grab those two X's and then you flip it over and then you go.
Right.
That was something we did in elementary school on the playground. Anyway, all right, tell me what you're thinking.
Well, I'm okay. I was 10 years old in 1975, and then I was 20 in 1985. So that's the time period, like the late 70s, early 80s. That's kind of the time that I picture, like.
That's great for me because
growing
that's
up.
my period too.
Yeah, even though you're 5 years younger.
Yeah.
I think you were, yeah.
Well, what did a What did a summer summer day makes
Summertime.
me feel fine. What did a summer day look like to you in 1980?
Summer. Here's the interesting thing about summer. I always remember the first day of summer vacation after school let out.
Yeah.
It was like the most exciting day of the year,
Well, sure.
next to like Christmas or something. It's
Yeah.
like boom, school's done, and now you've got all summer.
Do whatever you want.
And one of the things that I think about that's different then than it was today is this unstructured free time. We had no structure. There was nothing on the calendar. There was
No.
nothing that we had to do. I mean, yeah, I did some things, but nothing was structured.
I think you did more structured activity than I did because you were in scouts.
I was involved in Boy Scouts, right? And I was trying to remember, we had our meetings on Tuesday evenings every week, and I know that was during the school year, but during the summertime, I guess we met on Tuesdays because we met at the elementary school down the street.
Oh, maybe you didn't, dear.
So I don't know if we met during the summer, but we had to have.
Probably because that's when you would have done camping and stuff.
Honestly, don't remember. But
Yeah.
right during the summertime, I was involved in some Boy Scout activities and hikes and stuff, and going to summer camp. But that was a week or sometimes two in the summer. That was kind of a little bit later. When I was like 15, 16,
Oh, okay.
I think. Yeah.
Well, you were in scouts though from when you were young.
Well, I started off in the Webelos and then the Cub Scouts, Boy
Yeah.
Scouts. Yeah.
I was a brownie, and then I quit.
Mm.
I was a brownie dropout.
Well, I was an Eagle Scout.
I know. That's a big deal, you guys, just so you know.
And
Not everybody makes it to Eagle.
well, the way that kind of came about was when you're in Scouts, you earn merit badges and you move up in your rank, and then all of a sudden you get to a point where, wow, all I really need is like just 4 more merit badges and some project you have to do, and I'm so close. Like, I might as well just finish it off, be done with it. So it wasn't like I planned on becoming an Eagle Scout. It just time went on, and then you get so close, and you realize, well, I might as well just.
And you had a lot of badges from camp and stuff that you went to.
Yeah, you earn most of the merit badges at summer camp Boy Scout because you'd go and you'd earn like typically like 3 during a week.
I think that's
maybe
something
4.
that was interesting. That's like a difference probably between you and I is, like, I know you told me you went to Boy Scout camp all by yourself without knowing anyone. You went and signed yourself up and went off to camp. I would have been scared to death.
I did. There was a Boy Scout camp not too far from my house, and you just sign up, and our troop would go on camping trips where everybody, but this was a
Inner troop, like sleepaway situation.
yeah, it was the Boy Scout camp where anybody could go.
Right.
So you sign up. You're
But
right.
for some reason your troop didn't. That seems
Well,
weird.
we did separate things.
Right.
So the very first day, like I'd go for 2 weeks, and I would show up the first day, and I didn't know anybody,
Yeah.
nobody.
It's wild.
But you make friends fast
No, I'm sure.
within like a couple of days.
No, it totally makes sense. But I remember having friends whose parents would send them off to sleepaway camp, and I was like, I couldn't even imagine being away from home. Like, I don't know. I was scared to death of that kind of thing.
I didn't have a problem being away from home. I never really thought about it much because it was kind of strange. Because I remember going to camp, and there was always some kid who was crying and homesick and missed their parents and wanted to go back home.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, This
Yeah.
is great, man. What are you talking about?
It's weird
What do you
now
want
to
to go
think
back
of
home
it.
for?
I think I probably would have been like that. I don't know why. Because my parents weren't home. I was a latchkey kid. Like, my mom worked full time, and then she was like senior warden of our church, and they were never home. Like, I shouldn't say never. Every night, pretty much, we had dinner at 6. So we did do that. But, like,
Yeah.
not during the daytime. There was nobody at the
Right.
house. My brother and sister, they were older.
But thinking of summertime,
Yeah.
the Boy Scouts thing was a little bit later. I'm thinking like earlier
Yeah.
summertime.
No,
when
yeah.
between like age
Well, this is my recollection
10, 12.
of a summer day. Is first of all sleep in, probably till 10 or 11.
Mm-hmm.
Crawl out of bed. No parents are home; they're all at work. And then probably go watch Price is Right on the TV while eating, Rice Krispies with sugar all over the top. And then usually, like, our neighbor Jeff would come over, and we'd either well, it depends on the age, but either hang out with all the neighborhood kids, and we used to do stuff in the summer, like, get a big piece of plastic tarp and build a huge water slide in the backyard that kind of went down the slope.
Oh yeah,
You'd do something like that, or we just always get into mischief. Now, there was a train track at the end of our street. And there was a time when we'd go up there and put pennies on the train track, but that's so dangerous. I shouldn't even talk about it.
It's funny because there was a
But we
train
did
track near my house too. We did the same thing.
Yeah, everybody, all
Nope.
the kids did.
Don't try this at home, kids.
And if the guys came, there'd be people who come to kick you off and you'd go running.
I mean, you're trespassing, right?
Trespassing.
It's dangerous, right?
And then sometimes you'd ride your bike to the park or something. But then I think, well, and then there was that group. Those were the neighbor kids. And then once I was a little older, there were my kids' friends from school. And, like, my friend Karen had a tandem bike, and we would cruise on that tandem bike.
Bicycle built for two.
Yes. Love that thing.
That was a big thing, bike riding.
Bike ride, that's what I was gonna say.
We used to ride our bikes
remember
around
getting-
the neighborhood.
My sister had a 10-speed, and then I don't know if she got a new one or what, but I got her old gold 10-speed, and then it was like my life was opened up because you could go anywhere, anytime. I mean, I had friends in junior high. We didn't have middle school, junior high, but they lived,
We called it junior high too.
like, our school was here, and I lived a mile this way, and they'd live a mile that way, and you'd never see them. But then once you had bikes, you could ride all the way to their house. It was like opened up a whole new world. But that was most of the day, was just riding from place to place, seeing who was home, because you wouldn't know half the time until you got there.
Well,
Go knock on the door.
yeah. That reminds me of a couple of things in my neighborhood. We had a park.
Yeah.
It wasn't too far, so I'd always ride the bike up to the park and play on the swings, all like that. And oftentimes I'd go by myself.
Yeah. Just see who's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we had a neighborhood pool right at the end of my street,
We did not have.
and I could walk there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I ride my bike, but really it was walking. But I just ride my bike, and I used to go down there and during the summertime spend a lot of time at the neighborhood pool and at the park. And one thing at the park, they did have Little League baseball. And I went, like, it's like probably 12 years old. I went down there on my own. I found out when sign-up day was. I went down there with my baseball mid and signed up for Little League baseball. And I wasn't very good. But my parents had absolutely nothing to do with that.
Right.
They didn't know
Yeah.
what I was doing or where I was going.
Well, that's
They-
something different.
nothing.
Because, like, by the time we had kids, I mean, you felt like you weren't a good parent if you weren't signing them up for every sport just so they could try it. What if they
Karate.
happened to be the best kid in the world? I mean, we had our boys, not that they were over scheduled, because I was pretty careful to not over schedule, but they definitely did their turn at Little League Baseball for a minute, not long. Soccer, karate. Yeah, they did the free karate course. And then the guy kept calling and bugging me to sign them up. And I was like, no, too expensive. What else did they do? Football. They ran. Of course, they kept doing that. That was on their own, though. The running and the football was on their own. I would not have signed one of my little tiny. They were smaller than everybody. I would not have signed them up for tackle football.
But even us, we were a little bit more involved in that. We got to go sign up.
Way more involved.
My parents were like,
way more involved.
No involvement.
No. And we took them. I mean, I went to every meet, every
it's not
game.
It's not like my
different world.
Parents didn't care.
No.
They worked. My mom
different.
My dad worked. My mom had a part-time job, and
it's different.
It's like you're a kid. It's summertime. Go ride your bike around the neighborhood. Go out and have
the
fun.
The only rule in our house was to come home when the street lights went on. That's when you knew to come home.
It's funny. We had the same rule.
I think that was universal.
You had to come home when the street lights came on.
And I remember across the street, they had a dinner bell. And so when dinner was ready, they'd ring the dinner bell for their kids. But that pretty much told all us kids it's about dinner time because everybody ate dinner around 6. Right. I think that was common during that time. And then you'd go back out until the streetlights come on. And the good thing about that is in the summertime, that'd be like 10 p.m., 9:30.
Oh, it stays light.
Lights.
Very late.
So you could be out playing till late.
Another thing I did was much little bit younger did the bowling league.
Oh yeah, I did a bowling league
which was Saturday morning, but I didn't stick with that for very long.
I did that with my dad.
It's
actually
kind of a funny story.
Through the church. Okay, tell it.
We'll
see.
Back in the 70s, if you wanted to watch cartoons, they were all on Saturday morning. So it was Saturday morning cartoons.
Yes.
So for them, for 4 or 5 hours straight was just one cartoon after another, and then the rest of the week, you really couldn't watch cartoons.
Yeah.
So I was young enough that I really was into watching cartoons, and but the bowling league was Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So I signed up.
Mine was Sunday afternoon.
Signed up for bowling, and went just a few weekends, a few Saturdays. I mean, I wasn't a very good bowler, but it was something to do. But I was like, oh man, I'm missing all the Saturday morning cartoons. Yeah. So I quit bowling so I could stay home and watch cartoons. Now, this is pretty young. I mean, I don't know how old I was.
Yeah.
8 or 9 or...
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I had put my priorities,
No, that's right. You have to have your priorities.
So summertime growing up was very unstructured.
Super unstructured.
It was just, you just do whatever you want, Go to the pool, ride your bike around.
That led to...
Goof around with your friends.
I remember one time we decided we were going to build a clubhouse behind the garage, and you just source materials from everybody's house, all the neighborhood kids, and we built a clubhouse. There were a lot of things that probably weren't totally safe, I guess, that we would do. We would climb on the top of the garage and then jump off it just because.
Jump off the garage onto what?
To the ground.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why, but we did that. And you'd sit on top of the garage and just sunbathe. But, it's just I don't know. I think back on some of the things. I'm like, well, that was kind of weird. I don't know why we did that.
Never got into a lot of trouble, really. Never.
Trouble?
Not really trouble, and and didn't get injured or hurt, really, much.
No, I got lucky.
A couple times.
But it was just I don't even know. When I try to think of what a day was I think every day was different because you're always getting into something else. And I'm not saying bad, just a lot of times we'd be playing board games. We'd play Risk for an entire day or more.
Oh, yeah.
Or Monopoly.
Yeah.
Or you know what? One thing we did a lot is we baked a lot. We'd use this cookbook and we'd bake triple batches of, Nestle Toll House. Chocolate chip cookies. That's the word I'm looking for. Or brownies.
Real quick,
Cooking
talking
was a
about
big thing for us.
getting hurt. Up at the park, it had rained a lot, so there was kind of a little bit of flooding, and so there was this area that was kind of flooded, and it was like maybe, I don't know, 3 feet deep or something like that, and it was right next to the bike path.
Yeah, done this. Been
And
there.
I thought, I'm just gonna ride my bike right into the water.
Yes.
And I thought, that's not gonna hurt. It's just water. Well, when you hit that water, your bike stops, and your body doesn't. So I flew forward and hit the handlebars and bashed up my knees and bashed up everything. It's like, oh, I'm not going to do that again.
Well, it was the day before. Speaking of, this will lead into a segue to something else, but it was the day before we were to leave on a massive road trip. Yeah. I think we were first going to go down to our cousin's house in Ohio and then go. But anyway, and there was a big construction area on the like boulevard near our house. And they had built these giant, very round, I don't know why, like dirt things that they were going to use. I guess they dropped it that way and then they were going to use it to fill. I don't know what that. But at that time, Evel Knievel's big, everybody, all the kids were obsessed. I was obsessed with Evel Knievel. I don't know if you were, but I watched every Evel Knievel. Like, I couldn't get enough.
We made little ramps and jumps for our bikes.
Yes. So we got like a piece of plywood or whatever, I think, and put it so it kind of leaned up on that mound. And my brother took off as fast as he could on his bike and went up, and he smashed his face straight into the handlebars. And it looked like a crime scene. There was so much blood.
Ouch.
And anyway, so he ended up with a broken nose. But every time right before we went on a road trip, something like that would happen. I feel like every time. It was crazy.
I was...
I just remember him having a big thing on his nose the whole time.
I was riding down the street that kind of went downhill pretty fast, and it had a kind of a sloping curve on the side. And I went up the curb, but my tires, I guess, was kind of gravelly, and I kind of slipped out. So I fell off my bike pretty fast and hit the ground and got road rash up both knees and hands and everywhere, and picking gravel out of my skin. It was terrible.
Like that picking gravel out of a cut is like
burns.
What's the word for that? Like a memory from childhood that is so
picking
visceral.
Visceral, yeah.
I have such memories of picking gravel out of
like
it felt like that happened a lot.
So then after that happened a little while later, a couple of years later, my friend and I were both riding our bikes side by side down the street, and we got too close, and our handlebars got hung up.
You're making me have a memory,
Yeah, we have a lot of shared.
Well, because I think everybody.
So our handlebars got hung up, and I lost control, and I was headed toward the ground, and I was going, oh no, this is going to hurt.
Yeah.
Like I was just waiting.
And this is before helmets. Nobody wore a helmet.
No. Helmets weren't even invented yet.
I don't think so.
And anyway, I was headed toward the ground, and somehow I hit the ground and kind of rolled, and I didn't get hurt at all. And I was like, whoa. I got lucky.
How about your friend?
Yeah, he got a little banged up.
You didn't care. I remember one time my friend Karen and I were riding our 10 speeds, and they have the handles that look like a ram's horn. You know what I mean? They're like curved with the brake. And we were no-handing it because everybody could no-hand it. It's like, what the heck, you could no-hand. But we had that same thing where they kind of got clinked together. I don't remember what happened, but I do remember that. Yeah, riding bikes was just an integral part of everyday life. I feel like all the time, riding bikes. And half the time it was just riding to ride. You just cruise.
I said that we didn't get into a lot of mischief. Really, we didn't. But sometimes you do stupid things as kids. I just don't understand it.
Well, you just don't have that
I don't know what it is. Like, so me and my friend, like, I was riding the bike and he'd sit on the handlebars.
Oh, yeah, we did that.
And
Or on the seat, and you stand up.
and this is so dumb. And
Yeah.
it's like Tuesday night was the garbage went out on Tuesday night.
Oh,
And we call ourselves the Tuesday night trash crashers.
sweet.
Tuesday night trash crashers. And I'd ride the bike and he would send the handlebars and we'd ride down the street right next to people's trash cans and he'd kick them over.
Oh, no.
And trash would go all
Jerk.
over the place. You know, that's just something that stupid kids do. It's like, dar.
Yeah. Stupid and jerky. And now you'd be so mad if somebody did that.
Oh, I know.
As an adult, you'd be going,
That's what, 12-year-old kids do.
God. See, that boys have not changed. Like I see on Facebook people complaining about these jerky 12-year-olds who run around the Target and act obnoxious. And they do, and they're awful. And actually, I'm scared of them because I'm afraid they're going to do
Yeah.
something to me and I'll yell at them and then they'll videotape me. They are awful. But then again, are they any different than the Tuesday night trash crashers? I don't know. Except now it's all online, being shared on socials.
But we were talking about how our...
But imagine if people had had cell phones back then and posted that online and said, if anyone knows these kids, they're terrible, and the whole world would have gone, these are the worst people. Just because you're
there's no
Tuesday
cell
night trash.
phones. There's no
I know, but I'm
ring
just saying,
cameras. There's
what a different world.
You
Now
know.
you can't get away with any trash crashing.
no. But I know that...
I have a story, but it's too bad. I don't want to tell it, so I'm not going to.
Okay. But I don't know about so much today, but I know recently a lot of kids are over. There's always a thing about kids being over scheduled. Their parents have them, like you said, signed up for everything, and they don't have a minute of free time during the summer. And I just felt like it's better to have a lot of free time where you
But I
can
don't.
just kind of...
The world is so different now. If you have too much free time, what are you doing with it right now? Are you out playing, or are you sitting on your phone, or are you on video games? I think parents feel like if they give their kids too much free time, they could end up getting into bad stuff online. It's tricky, man.
Okay.
It's a different world.
All right. So, when we were growing up, if you didn't go out and find yourself some activity, something to do, you can't just sit around the house, especially when there was nothing good on TV.
The only thing on TV was soap operas.
During the daytime.
That's it.
Oh, no.
Soap operas, and then like
There's no computer. There's no TV. There's no social media. There's nothing to do at home.
the amount of times I said to my mom, I'm so bored. I would say that all the time, I'm so bored. And she'd go, that just means you don't have a good imagination, which just puts it back on you. I'd be like, because like it would be, okay, we've talked about this before, but on a Sunday,
Yeah, I know
you get
exactly
home,
where you're going.
we every morning, every Sunday we went to church. That was, we'd get up, you
I know
get
where
dressed
you're
in
going
a
with
dress
this,
and nylons and nice little heeled shoes. I mean, you dressed up, go out to church, go out to lunch, and then you'd come home and you'd call everybody you knew, and nobody's home. Nobody's home, nobody's around. And I would just sit there going, I'm so bored.
How is it?
It was so boring.
How is it that you and I have so many the
I
exact
don't
same
know.
experiences?
I don't know. And then you'd go into school on Monday and go, where were you? I was so bored. And they'd be like, I was so bored. I just ran out for a minute to the store.
What'd you do yesterday? Nothing.
Nothing. Like everybody did nothing.
Well, okay. So
I don't
we kind of talked about this unstructured. You were going to talk about something.
No, no. I'm
I'm
not.
talking about cookies or something.
No, I was just saying that we used to cook a lot. That was just something that we did during the day and at night. But I will talk about road trips when you're done. Because that was a summer thing. For sure.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. Because my family we went on family vacation usually once a summer, one week during the summer, usually to Tennessee to visit relatives. But my family also, we traveled around a lot and went to all kinds of different states. So there's always a week family vacation.
We would do at least a week, but often more, 2 weeks or so. And And I don't know if I knew at the time, but my sister tells me that it was usually because, like, with the auto industry, they'd have layoffs that were for a couple weeks every here and there. And she says that's why we did that. But I don't recall. I was too young to have clocked that, I guess. But that was what she
I
said.
think every family, they just had 1 week where you did a family vacation.
But we would go on road trips. And, like, there was one that went to Maine and all the East Coast.
You did the same
And
thing.
then there's, of course, we did multiple out west ones.
Mm-hmm. We did the same thing.
And then, like, one that went to New Orleans and Florida and that kind of stuff. But anyway, and then up north in Michigan, of course, you'd occasionally. We didn't see. Most of my friends had cabins up north. So in Michigan, like where we lived was down here.
I had a couple friends with cabins
But
up
most
north.
people had cabins or lakes all over. And did you hear that? What was that?
I think it was fireworks.
Like, it's Memorial Day.
It is Memorial Day.
Okay. I'm like a dog. I'm like, oh my God, what is it? It's a bomb. I don't trust those noises. Anyway, there was a lake called like Houghton Lake, and Higgins Lake.
Houghton Lake, yeah.
Anyway, all my friends had cabins. So they would just go to the cabin for their week. That was their, but my family, we were always driving and camping. That's what we did.
My family was the same way. Again, we have so many similar experiences.
Well, because we're both, white.
I mean,
middle class white folks. Probably all about the same. And you'd have to bring your map and map it out. And that was like my favorite part was my dad would hand me the map and go, okay, tell me where to go. Of course, usually it was like follow I-75 for 500 miles.
My parents had AAA insurance, and so
Yeah, we'd
always go over to the AAA office, and my mom would get the triptych for the trip. And for anybody who doesn't know what a triptych is, this is pre-GPS and all that stuff. So if you're going on a trip somewhere, you go in there, you go to the counter, you tell the person where you're going. Say we're going Detroit to Bar Harbor, Maine.
Yeah.
And they would go over to this huge stack of, there were little maps that were maybe 3 by 6 inches. And they'd go to these little cubby holes and they'd pull them all out. They knew which ones. They put together in a book. And then they'd pull out a highlighter and say, okay, here's where you go. Down this road, this road, this road. And you put it in a little book that you'd flip through. So it's a triptych. And that's how you knew, first, how to get there.
And they could say, okay, so halfway there's this city. And then they had the ratings for different hotels, how many diamonds it had and whatever.
Oh, yeah, all the hotels and lodging and stuff like that.
And so they'd show you how to go off on that exit and where it would be and everything. And they might point out gas stations that were AAA approved, things like that. But I think, Greg, a lot of people who like ASMR have clear memories of this because it is one of my earliest memories where the lady would be going, so you go from Detroit, and a lot of times chomping on a piece of gum, and you go down to Miami, and I would just sit there like, I always want to go when it was time to get the triptych because it was ASMR in the wild like crazy, and they'd sit there and tell you about this and tell you about that and tell you about this, and they'd highlight and they'd talk about it, and you'd be like, oh my gosh.
So here's another similar experience I know that we both have had. My dad would be driving, my mom would be looking at the triptych, and somewhere we had to find a hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Or a motel, they'd call them, or a travel lodge or something like that. I think the difference between a hotel and a motel, I think a hotel has multiple.
2 stories or more, yeah.
Well, a motel.
A motel's a motor lodge. That's what that stands for. So you pull up,
drive
and
up,
your car would be right in front of your room.
And, I have a younger brother who was 5 years younger, and we absolutely, our only criteria was we had to have a swimming pool,
Yes,
and that was it.
Yeah.
So we stopped at a lot of like hotels, and none of these were chains. Very few chains. They were always, just individual. But anyway, my parents had to always go in and check the room
Yep,
first. My
that's
mom
right.
would go in the room, and she'd look around, and
See
she'd
if there are
say,
any roaches.
and she'd go, "Nope,
Yep.
this place is disgusting, dirty.
Yeah.
We're not staying here."
Yep.
And we go to the next one.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's something you don't do anymore. Probably should, but don't. Um, yeah. I sometime in probably the early 80s is when Holly Domes, which were Holiday Inn, started a brand called Holly Dome, and they were these big indoor domes with a swimming pool and like some arcade games, and that was the end all. That was like, if there was a Holly Dome, we were like, we gotta go to the Holly Dome. But it was awesome, awesome. And I don't know if you remember, Greg, when the boys were young. Our family, you and me and the boys, were driving out west. And at that time, there was a website called hotels.com or something like that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And you could reserve for the very next night. I think that was about as for maybe 2 nights in advance. And so because we had had incidents, what used to happen, I should go back in time. What used to happen is you'd pull up to hotels and there'd be no vacancy. And so you'd have to keep driving, and then there'd be no vacancy and you'd have to keep driving. And it could be very exhausting when you're driving. So I was booking hotels and we would just aim to get there. So I think it was like outside of Kansas City or somewhere. There was an old Holly Dome and we booked it, and it was like, what do they call that? Like a liminal space now, because the lights weren't working. It was kind of dark.
I do remember
but there was still
that.
a pool there and the kids went swimming, but it was weird. It was just empty. I was like, this is
It was like
so
half dark.
bizarre.
Felt
And
kind
like
of like
where our room was like pitch black.
felt like a gymnasium sort of
so
thing.
weird.
See, that was. Yeah,
And I was like, Greg, this place used to be wonderful.
that was weird.
Anyway, but yeah, road trips were different. We'd always carry a cooler and make our lunches on the road.
Same.
Stop, and Mom would always bring deviled ham, canned ham, or the little wieners, the little Vienna sausages.
Oh my gosh,
And you'd cut them and put them on a sandwich with
Vienna
mustard.
sausage as well.
That was like, and deviled ham was the real salty stuff. I don't know if you had that, because that might have been southern. And then peanut butter and jelly.
I think my mom would make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or tuna fish sandwiches.
Oh yeah,
And I always had a bag of chips
Yeah.
and
you'd always had Kit Kat bars.
and a Kit Kat bar for dessert
yeah.
in the cooler. Which, by the way, we still have that cooler, big green cooler,
Yeah,
Coleman cooler that
I think it's great.
all those road trips that I took as a kid. We still use that cooler today.
We had a red and white one. I remember every night you had to unplug it to drain all the water out and put new ice in there. Kept a little milk in there for our cereal. But anyway, that was fun.
Talking about this time period,
Yeah.
late 70s, early 80s,
Yeah.
and maps. When you left the house,
Yeah.
if you didn't know where you were going, you had to take a map.
For sure. I remember even going to like Lynn, my best friend Lynn. She moved half an hour from where I lived. And I remember getting out the map with my dad to figure out what street she was on and routing it the first time I drove there by myself. And I remember doing that.
Here was the thing, that when you're out driving around or you're out on a road trip or whatever, the very first thing you have to do is figure out where you are.
Yeah.
Because you can't figure out where you're going to go, how to get there, unless you figure out where you are. And sometimes that was the tricky part. It's like, well, I'm not even sure where I am.
Yeah. Yeah, so you'd stop and say, can you just point out where we are right now?
And a lot of times, if I was driving somewhere, I would learn the route, so I knew the route.
Exactly.
But if you ever came back a different route, all of a sudden, whoa, I'm confused now. But this is GPS,
But I also remember in Michigan, when I was old enough to drive, getting the map out and looking at where there were water, anywhere there was water, and just driving there to see what it was. Because I was like, wait, that little lake isn't far. And we used to fish, like my friends and I. So we'd just like find anywhere there was a little lake and go drive there and see if we could access it, which is sort of a fun thing to do. As you remember,
right.
Anyway.
Well, kind of another thing that makes me think about this time period is the lack of constant connectivity.
Yeah.
When when you left the house.
Yeah. Oh, when you went on a road trip for 2 weeks.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, road trips.
You're out of contact.
When you went on a road trip or
Yeah.
left the house for a week or two with your family,
Yeah.
you had absolutely zero contact with your friends.
Yeah.
You say, I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You couldn't contact them and
Yep.
couldn't anything. I mean, you could send a postcard, which we used to
Which
do.
we did. Yeah. We'd send postcards.
Yeah, it was a common thing. You go to a place and
Yeah.
buy a postcard and send a postcard, but no contact.
No.
And then that's just true in daily life. If you just took off on your bike one day and went riding around,
Yeah.
nobody knew where you were when
And-
you're coming back.
And it was like, in some ways, it was really nice because you didn't have, like, I feel bad for kids today who have too much social media presence and pressure, and also everything's kind of the same because everybody's, wait a minute, that's interesting. Hold on.
Okay.
Back when we were young, everything was the same in that we all watched the same TV shows. We all listened to the same top 40 music.
Mm-hmm.
So we had very common interests in that. Like if you went to school, everybody watched Saturday Night Live or David Letterman. Like when I was a teen, that was it. But so everybody had the same frame of reference. And I was going to say now everything's the same, but it's not, but it is.
I've thought about the same thing.
Because now they're all influenced by like the looks of the gals on social media who all look alike. I don't know if it's the filters or the pumping up of the lips or what, but they all like look alike, and girls are feel like they have to look that way. When in the 70s we all looked vastly different, and that was cool. You were still jealous of everybody and wanted to be a size 2 or whatever, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm not sure. It's just different.
I've thought about the same thing. Talking about a shared cultural experience.
Yeah.
Kind of a modern term for that is monoculture, which
Yeah.
is basically everybody watched and listened to kind of the same stuff.
Yeah.
So we all had more of a shared cultural experience. For example, growing up in Detroit, you had your three major networks, ABC, NBC, CBS. You had Channel 9, I think it was from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the local station, what was it, 53, 54, you remember?
Well, Channel 50 was
Okay, it
where
was-
Bob Kennedy at the movies was. and
Okay,
all
it was
that.
Channel 50.
But I don't think that was local, was it?
Yeah, it was a local
Oh, okay.
local station.
Because that ended up playing The Simpsons, so I thought that maybe that turned into Fox.
Wait a minute, what was the channel that had all the reruns? It was Channel 50, right? After school reruns?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had like Happy Days and
Right.
Leave It to Beaver. and
Okay,
all that. Yeah.
so you had your three major networks.
Yeah.
You had a Canadian station.
Which I loved. That had SCTV.
And you had Channel 50, which was all your local stuff.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yes.
So you didn't
Yeah.
have a whole lot to choose from.
Yeah, but it's kind of interesting because now it's different. Like in Detroit growing up, all the restaurants were local. Like, and my family, we loved Ciro's, which was Greek. We loved Pasquale's Pizza. Like there were very specific places that we ate at. But like some of my friends had never been to any of those restaurants because their family, ate at, I don't know, other local restaurants
Beef
that we
Carver.
weren't really familiar with. Well, we did go to Beef Carver.
Beef Carver.
We
yeah.
loved Beef Carver. But it's just kind of interesting because now I feel like everything's a chain. There aren't that many local
Right. We
like
went.
diner type places.
We-
And
yeah.
and because places get talked about online, there's definitely a commonality in what, like if I talk to all my neighbors and say, oh, I went and ate at this place, they're all like, yeah, I ate at that place. You know, I don't know. That's a difference, maybe.
We didn't go out to eat too often. My mom always cooked dinner, and
Yeah, we usually did that too, but
of course she'd bring home fast food like McDonald's when she worked.
yeah, my
And then,
mom, when she started teaching at night, so Dad and I went out to dinner Tuesdays and Thursdays.
and when we went out for a fancy night,
Yeah.
Red Lobster.
Red Lobster, yeah. Oh, Mother's Day. Wait
That was
45 minutes of Red Lobster.
that was a big thing.
Look, that's why I wanted to work there, man. I was like, this is fancy.
Now, talking about these TV shows, I think this was during the school year. School, because I remember coming home from school, and then on Channel 50, they'd have all the reruns.
Yeah.
And you could watch 60s sitcom reruns for 2-3 hours,
Yeah.
30 minutes long, one after another.
Yeah.
And we used to always do that. We watched one show after another. And I think during, if I remember correctly, during different times of the year, they had different shows. But what's kind of interesting is they were all the shows from the 1960s, but they're rerunning them in the late 70s. And so you've kind of felt like they're more current, but really they were like 10 to 15 years old.
Yeah.
I'm talking about shows like The Brady Bunch,
Yeah.
Gilligan's Island,
Yeah.
Hogan's Heroes, Get
Yeah.
Smart.
Sometimes I think I was watching the Brady Bunch and it was brand new, but it sure was not brand new.
It
when
was
I
it was probably
watching
10 years old.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Petticoat Junction,
Oh, God, that show was stupid.
Green
Acres.
Green Acres,
I liked Green Acres.
Mr. Ed,
Shawshank
Mr.
Boy.
Ed, the Talking Horse,
Yeah.
Beverly Hillbillies.
Oh, yeah, I liked that show. That was
And then there was the Munsters and the Addams Family.
better.
Love Bewitched. I Dream of Jeannie.
Bewitched. Yeah.
Those
are the older ones. But I used to like to watch like Happy Days, and then it would be Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley back to back. I always loved Laverne and Shirley.
No, I don't know if those were reruns at the time, were they? Because those that came on, that was more current.
Well, maybe I was watching them new. I think they were reruns when I watched them. I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll have to get the TV guide and look through it sometime because I'm curious.
Well, we've actually talked about this before, but in the evening, like pick an evening, whatever, like Wednesday evening or Thursday evening at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
When you wanted to watch something, you look at the TV guide and you had 3 stations.
Yeah.
So you get 3 programs to pick from.
Yeah.
And usually one of them you could easily knock out. Like, well, I'm not interested in watching that show.
Yeah.
Now I have to watch between these 2 shows. And usually one you're not that in. So it wasn't really a hard decision. But then occasionally you'd have 2 shows on at the same time.
Yeah.
On different
they were
channels.
good, yeah.
And you're like, oh, which one do I watch?
Yeah. That didn't happen very often.
But these are shows that only came on once a week.
Yeah.
And popular shows, I'm thinking of the late 70s, Charlie's Angels,
Yeah.
Dukes of Hazzard, Love Boat,
Oh, Fantasy Island.
Fantasy Island.
I just remember that Three's Company was on
Three's
just like
Company.
after my bedtime, and my mom did not want me to watch that show because I was too young for that kind of stuff. But I would go. She had a TV in her bedroom, so I'd pretend to go to bed, and then I'd sneak in her bedroom and turn it on and try to watch Three's Company because I was like, "What happens on the show? It's so dirty." I just knew it was so filthy.
Right.
But you're too young to get what
Oh,
the
I know.
jokes are anyway, and I'm not even sure. It was actually, I've seen clips of it. There's some pretty
Yeah, it's in the humor, right?
well, and that little outfit that Suzanne Summers
Suzanne
wears.
Summers,
She'd be
yeah.
in like her nightie with like little short shorts. I'm like, oh my god.
Talk about Mrs. Roper.
Well, she was like my age.
Other shows, Taxi.
I loved Taxi. That was Fish. I loved. These are later. These are when
Yeah, Barney
like,
Miller.
Yes, loved Barney Miller.
Fish was a spinoff of
It
Barney
was a
Miller.
spin-off, but Fish was on Barney Miller. I loved it. And when he died, I cried and cried. And yeah, Taxi was awesome.
I loved $6 Million Man and The Bionic Woman.
Those are kind of dumb. The Hulk
Well, they were all dumb.
with David Baynard. Is that his name? David Baynard?
Well, David
Not David.
David Banner
David Banner.
is the character name.
Yeah.
Bill Bixby
Bill Bixby.
played.
I love the Hulk. And then Lou
Hulk.
Ferrigno,
Played the Hulk.
the green
Right.
part.
Mm-hmm.
I love that show. Oh, wait a minute. It's leaving my brain. There was a space one.
Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, but I feel like it was even before that. Well, Star Trek, obviously. I loved Star Trek, the original. Dad and I watched that.
Now those were reruns.
Yeah, I
Weren't
guess they
they?
would have been. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess you're right. But then Dad and I started watching Muppets.
Muppets.
And Muppets in Space was like the best.
Other shows, Chips,
Yuck.
Hill Street Blues,
Oh, I like that show. Be careful out there.
Wonder Woman.
Loved it. Loved it.
Yeah.
Linda.
I used to love a show called
What's her name?
Linda
God, she was so beautiful.
Carter.
Linda Carter.
Linda Carter.
I thought she was so beautiful.
Yeah.
Their blue eyes.
I used to love a show called Emergency.
Yeah, I never watched that.
Yeah.
I would skip that.
I love that show.
I don't know if I ever saw it.
But I told this story before, I think in another video. When I was in grade school, I loved watching Welcome Back, Kotter.
Oh,
I loved the show.
yeah.
Loved it. And then years go by. A long time. I remember I was sick one night, not feeling well, so I couldn't sleep. Blah blah blah. I was up late watching TV, and on comes Welcome Back, Kotter, and I'm like, well, I haven't seen this show in 15 years or 20 years or whatever it was. So I'll watch this because I loved the show.
Mm-hmm.
It was the dumbest thing I have ever seen
Horseshack.
in my life. It was so dumb. I'm thinking, I can't believe that I actually watched.
Well,
I was in 6th grade, I remember.
yeah.
I used to have a T-shirt. T-shirt with the Sweat Hogs.
Oh, yeah, the Sweat Hogs. Well, you know what shows my sister loved was the Bill Cosby cartoon. Remember that?
Bill Cosby cartoon.
Oh, you'd remember it. It had the guy who was like Mumbles or whatever.
Think about Fat Albert?
Fat Albert.
That's a cartoon.
That's what I said.
Oh, okay.
But it was all Bill Cosby's voice, wasn't it? Like most of it. I don't know if that ages so well or not.
No.
Anyway.
I think you mentioned like Saturday Night Live. You had to watch it.
Oh, you had to watch it.
Because Monday morning, like you said, Monday morning you went back to school. If all the kids at school were talking about the skits and this and that, and you missed it, you felt like you were out.
Well, and I was pretty cool because I always watched it, and I always knew the skits. I could quote them, and people hadn't seen it, so they just thought I was funny. Like, I'd just steal jokes from Saturday Night Live, and they thought it was like my original thought, and I'd be like, yeah. Something with David Letterman.
It's interesting, this shared cultural experience. It was really in Quentin Tarantino's movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The character, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Rick Dalton.
Yeah.
You know, he's aging TV star. He was in this show called Bounty Law. That was the name of this show in the movie. And in the movie, everyone makes a comment like, "Oh, I got to get home at 8
to
o'clock."
watch it. Yes, that's right.
Or whatever time it was. Everybody's got to get home to watch Bounty Law. And it's like,
I didn't know he was in it. I thought he was trying to get home to watch it too. I don't think his character was in the show. He just wanted to watch the show.
oh, he was in it. He starred it.
Oh, I thought, okay. My memory was he was just trying
Bounty
to get home
Law
to watch
was, it was.
Okay.
Rick Dalton was the character, and it was played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and his stunt double
Yeah.
in the show was Brad Pitt. But
still...
it was interesting how in the movie everyone mentions they have to get home. And that reminds me of, I think it was, I want to say, whatever night we had Boy Scouts, Tuesday night, my scout leader loved MASH.
Oh, yeah.
Had to watch MASH.
Loved MASH. I have heard people say MASH doesn't age well. I can't imagine that's true. It was so good. It wasn't like, and people are like, it's not funny. Well, it wasn't necessarily funny all the time.
But I thought it was a great show.
I thought it was great, but I haven't watched it in a while.
But I think maybe some of my memory may be wrong, but I felt like the show came on at 9 o'clock. Okay,
I don't know.
say 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And the Boy Scout meeting was, people were like, well, we'll end at 8:50.
Mm-hmm.
The Scoutmaster's like, we are ending our meeting at 8:50 sharp, not 8:51, because I have to get home in time to watch MASH.
Fair. That's funny.
And because it's like, if you missed it, it's just no way you can't record it. This is like pre-videotape.
Yeah.
If you missed it, you missed it.
Yeah.
Speaking of really,
You know I'm playing this game, Greg.
yes,
You do?
I'm watching you.
No, but you know why I'm playing it.
Why?
I don't know. This was a game that my grandma always had, and in the summertime when we'd be at her house, I spent a lot of time playing Haikyuu. But it's also like the game they have at Cracker Barrel with the thumb. What do you call those?
Yes, right.
Tees.
The tees, right? I don't know if you remember this because you probably weren't into monster movies.
No,
Like,
no. I mean, that's not true. I watched Frankenstein.
like the Japanese, like Godzilla
not really.
and Rodan and Ghidorah and
Mothra,
and what was the turtle?
Turtle,
It was a big turtle. What was his
Terrapin.
name?
I don't know.
Anyway,
I didn't know there was a turtle.
I think it was on Channel 50, and once a year, whatever, they'd have Monster Week.
Yeah.
They had Monster Week,
I do remember this.
and it's after school, so they didn't have all the '60s sitcom. They do Monster Week, and every day at like 4:30, they would show a different monster movie. You know. And when I was young, and I was so into these monster movies, I had to get home. I had to get home because it was Monster Week, and I watched all those.
Yeah, I did not do that. But I do remember when Jaws was going to be on TV, and I begged my mom to let me watch it, but it was going to be really late. So she told me if I'd take a nap, I could watch it. So I pretended to take a nap so I could watch it. But then I couldn't take a bath, like, ever again in my life because I was so afraid a shark would come up through the drain of the bathtub somehow. I don't know. It freaked me out. My lifelong fear of sharks. Anyway, we were going to do a separate video just on shows, and now we've gone off on a TV show tangent. But one more thing about TV shows. I remember in elementary school, I had morning kindergarten. And so my mom would drop me off at Maureen's house because my mom was going to law school. And so she dropped me off there in the morning. I guess I had
morning.
this must be first grade. This must not be. I had afternoon kindergarten because I'd go to, okay, separate story. Okay, this is first grade because you could walk home for lunch. And our elementary school is probably, I don't know, half mile from the house, but you could walk home. So I would walk home for lunch, and Mom would make like grilled cheese and tomato soup and turn on Match Game 76.
And then you go back to school.
And then you go back to school.
Yeah, I did
Which
the same.
seems crazy.
I did the same thing.
And the reason that it seems extra crazy is I lived in Oakland County where the Oakland County child killer was active.
Oh boy.
It's crazy to think. And I remember one time I was walking home, I had to pee so bad. And so I'm like rushing to get home, and I finally got home and the door was locked. And I remember pounding on my back door, like, let me in. And I peed my pants before she got to the door. But anyway, it's a core memory.
And how old were you?
I was in first grade.
Yeah.
So probably like
those
6.
those are
It was so embarrassing. I was like, oh my
memories
God.
that traumatize you.
Yeah, they do. But yeah, I remember sitting there and watching Match Game 76. And that's the only reason I remember, because it would change with the year. It was 75 and then 76, 77. And it had, was it Richard Dalton was the host? Anyway, whatever.
You know, you watched game shows.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't really into game shows.
Oh, I watched Hollywood Squares, Price is Right, Match Game, Wheel of Fortune, then when Jeopardy!
I occasionally would watch.
Loved it. I didn't like
What's Hollywood Squares? That's the with the tic tac toe.
Hollywood Squares was like tic-tac-toe.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And it was all these, it was like Phyllis
B,
Diller and
B actors.
they were all kind of drunk.
C
And they would
actors.
all be like sitting there smoking their cigarettes and drinking and then just being funny. I thought it was funny and somewhat inappropriate, which makes it even funnier. Anyway. Oh, and there was the one where they'd have a kind of famous person and a regular person. They try to get them to say stuff. Password?
Maybe.
I don't remember. And
Yeah, I didn't watch too many game shows, and I didn't watch soap operas.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I watched all of the Channel 2 soap operas. So it was like Young and the Restless, Bold and Beautiful later on, and then Guiding Light. And Guiding Light I could watch even during the school year because as soon as you got home from school, you could watch the end of Guiding Light. So that was year round. But Young and the Restless was only during the summertime. And my grandma always watched them, and she called them her stories.
The stories.
So we all had that in common.
I have a traumatic experience from grade school.
Okay. Does it involve peeing your pants?
No, not exactly.
Okay. I have another traumatic experience.
Probably, I don't know, it's maybe third or fourth grade, maybe. I don't remember, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
We went outside to play for recess and goofing around playing, and I split my pants.
Oh, no. Embarrassing.
Well, I don't think...
This sounds very similar to a traumatic experience.
As far as I know, nobody knew, but the back of my pants were split wide open.
Oh, no.
And recess was over, and I sort of sneaked my way in the room, and I sat in the front row.
Oh.
So I sit down, and I sit there, and then we have, from after recess until the end of the class. And we were doing something where the teacher was calling up students to go up to the board to write stuff on the board.
Oh.
And I sat there. I was too embarrassed to say anything. Okay, I'm just a kid.
Which is silly because, like, you should just go.
I just too embarrassed.
I totally get it.
So I'm sitting there and I'm saying, please don't call on me.
Don't do it.
Please.
Yeah.
Because I had to stand up and walk up there with these pants split open. And I sat there for 2 hours, I guess,
Just dying.
just in terror, embarrassment and terror. And I was I'm completely traumatized.
Yeah.
Never got called up.
Oh.
Went home, told my mom, and she said, "Why didn't you say something? I would have brought you another pair of pants." And I'm like, too embarrassed to say anything.
Well,
traumatized.
I have told this story before, but I was in second grade and we were out in the playground, and somehow I kneeled down in a big pile of dog poop, like that really stinky, awful kind of moist dog poop.
Gross.
And so it was all over the knee of my corduroys. And so you can't wipe it out because it's like it was terrible.
And you can smell
and
it.
It smelled so
yeah,
bad.
it's so bad.
So I went and told the teacher, and I think she did try to call my mom and dad, but they were both at work. And so she goes to the lost and found and found some pants for me to wear, and they were like so bad and so wrong size. But it was better than stinky poop pants, and I just wanted to die all day long. It was the worst.
It's
so
boy.
embarrassing. And then I had to go home with my bag with my pooped on dog pant.
That's terrible. I'm sorry you lived through that.
And I used to have long fingernails. Like, my nails have always just grown like crazy and been super strong. But I have like this clear memory of in second grade waiting in line to wash your hands. And this kid, Jimmy, he's like, "You have fake fingernails." And I was like, "No, they're my real fingernails." And he was just like, "Nobody has long fingernails like that, and they're fake." And he like told everybody they were fake. I was like so mad. I don't know why. It's like weird. I don't know why it mattered. It's like, they're my real fingernails. Anyway. But I think as far as like that kind of thing, like bullying. Like there were a lot of mean kids who said mean stuff. Like it was rough, man. It was like every man for himself in my elementary school.
Mm,
I had it rough. I was just slightly overweight, and so they would call me name. Like looking back at pictures, I was not fat, but at the time I thought I was fat because kids were so
oh
skinny.
my gosh. In the 70s, everybody was skinny.
Like I thought I was
We were
really
all
fat,
beanballs.
but now I look back and I'm like, good grief, I was just sort of normal, you know. But people were mean, and sometimes I think of that and I'm like, God, I don't think kids today understand how mean people were. But then at the same time, the other side of my brain goes, oh, it's so much worse now. Because now people can call you out online and say like terrible.
Social
It's like
media.
so different. It's so much more cruel now, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know how.
Like people say, oh, kids today are, treated with kid gloves and they can't win or lose. They have to always just tie and you can't, they don't get tough or whatever. But then at the same time, they deal with social media stuff that's so much worse than anything we ever dealt with by adults too. Like I tell you, I see adults posting pictures of kids doing things wrong, like trash
Tuesday night trash crashers.
and they like adults are attacking them. I'm like, what
I
is
wouldn't
going
do
on
that
in this
today.
world? It's terrible. Well, yeah, it's just different. It's so different.
I
It's like
don't.
every generation has their own thing to deal with.
I don't
think.
know how kids grow up with this social media.
Can you imagine some of the stuff we did in like high school and college if people were recording that and sharing that now, like years later? I'd die. I would die. Some of the stuff I did and said when I was immature and stupid and drunk.
Well, there's no recording of it. There's no digital recording of anything. So it's like, yes.
But it must follow you in your brain. Like just knowing something could be out there. I don't know. I remember one time one of our sons broke up with a girl. I won't go into details, but he said something bad about her, and she got a hold of that and started sending it to me and sending it around and going, this is yours. And I was like, wow. But now they could use AI to manipulate stuff. Like, I don't know.
Oh, AI is going to make it worse. That's a whole other topic. We can't even go down that road.
No, we can't go down that road. But I don't know. It's like,
it's
maybe it makes it worse or maybe it makes it better because you can just say, oh, that wasn't me. Somebody AI did. I mean, you kind of have an out. You can just say, that's AI.
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
I had other things here like these books because, and this is just, but like when you wanted to know information like about the owls, like we have our owl box. Now I can Google it, or the bees. I can just Google it. But it used to be you had to go and look it up in a book
At the library.
or join a club that if you're really like with the bees, like I still should join a beekeepers club. But I think back then I definitely would have joined a beekeepers club because I would have no idea what I'm doing. And there would be no good way to find out unless you joined a group of people who already can share that information. And I think that's where like you tended to be more social because you did join clubs, or like if you had a hobby, you'd join a club about the hobby, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, like, because this book's not going to tell you enough about owls or bees. You'd have to find out more somehow. And now you can just Google it or ask chat. And same thing like with, doing home improvements. You'd look it up in these books and try to figure it out.
You'd have to look it up in a book, right? Go to the library and get a book. That's how you found out stuff.
Look at this triple socket, Craig. Why don't we have those?
Oh, yeah. It's funny. I've never seen that.
Yeah,
That looked like
I
that.
don't know that.
I think at the time when you're growing up, and that's just the way things are, you don't really think about it. You don't really
No.
like, and this is actually goes a little bit further ahead. When I was in college,
Yeah.
right before I met you, I took some summer classes and stayed at this apartment and shared the apartment with this guy from France.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it was his apartment, and he called France a lot and racked up a huge phone bill and couldn't pay his phone bill. And so the phone company shut off the phone service to the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed there for the summer and no phone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, down the street on the corner was a payphone.
Right.
Try to find a payphone today.
Yeah.
So if I had to call anybody,
Yeah.
I had to walk down the street, feed the payphone with a couple of quarters, and call somebody.
Yeah.
But at the time, I never thought, this is inconvenient. This is
Right.
weird. Well,
That's the way
I'd
it
walk, I'd
was.
walk down the street and make a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
But today, you'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't just pick up my phone and just call somebody. I got to walk down the street.
Yeah, it was a different world. That same summer that you were in that apartment, I was in another apartment on campus at the same college. We just hadn't met each other yet, which is unfortunate.
And we were
'cause
both bored.
I was so bored. And I had this basement apartment, so there weren't really full windows. They were half windows. And I had a VHS player, but the only VHS tape I had was, and I've told this before, but Indiana Jones
Yeah.
Part 3, I think it was. But
We met the
I was so bored.
that semester after that summer, I remember.
Oh my God, I didn't know what to do. There was nobody on campus really. It was empty, except summer school people.
And we met in a class called
God, it was so bad.
Writing, Fiction, and Poetry.
I thought it was just creative writing.
I thought the class was called Writing, Fiction, and Poetry.
All right.
We wrote some poems and short stories and stuff.
Yeah, and that teacher who said,
Oh, I remember
"Did he
this.
tell us?" He said,
I remember this. Could you miss the first day?
No. Oh no. Remind me. I don't know. I always miss class.
Well-
I was the worst student.
It was funny because the very first day of class,
Yeah.
I was there. You, for some reason, missed the very first day of class.
Because I hated first day to go over the syllabus. I found
And
it boring.
so the second day of class, you show up,
I don't remember this.
and the teacher made some comment like, "You missed the first class. You've got a lot to catch up on. You were way behind." And I was sitting there thinking, way behind? What did we didn't do anything on the first day. She's not way behind.
Oh my God. I don't remember this.
But you sat right across from me, and I was like, wow, she's cute.
Okay.
She's hot.
You were after a different girl in the class, as I recall.
No,
A little bit.
no way.
Yeah. A little bit.
No way.
Well, I did take time getting ready after that, I will say. I'd make sure I had my curl going. I had that blonde curl going in my eye, like, what was the name of that actress from the 40s? Veronica Lake, I think. And I'd put on black eyeliner and red lipstick. I had a look. But, no, it was the time we came in and we had all written stuff. And he said, "This class makes me
Oh.
miserable," or something. I forget. He was,
Oh, yeah, he was there.
He was such a jerk.
I feel,
we were all like,
after this class is over, I feel sad or depressed or something.
So depressed.
Why
by
did
you guys.
Why did he say that?
Because he wanted us to all like chime in and give our thoughts on things, I think.
and we all
and
just
we
sat.
just would
we
sit
all
there.
just sat there.
I mean,
go
it
on.
probably was miserable, but I don't know. It's funny because I felt like we wrote some decent stuff during that class. The one time you wrote a story and he wrote on your story, he wrote, "Sounds like Hemingway, maybe a little too much," as if you were like stealing content or something. I was like,
Copying Hemingway.
whatever. Like, no, Greg just likes to say things like this.
I don't remember that.
I do. Just because I was offended. And you didn't take it that way.
Well,
You thought it was a compliment. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's like
really?
saying you're
because I know I
cheating.
didn't. I wasn't stealing from Hemingway. I know that. It's just what I
You
wrote.
apparently thought. But you ended up being friends with that guy later, actually.
Yeah.
It was funny. You ended up staying in the world of creative writing
Well,
and became friends.
that also kind of reminds me of in elementary school, I guess we'd be into art.
Yeah.
Art. I loved art class,
Oh yeah, me
and
too.
we had to do drawing stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I came in with this drawing, or I did this drawing, and it was like a landscape with these pine trees.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am in like fifth, sixth grade, and this landscape looked really good. And the teacher looked at that and said, "You didn't draw that."
Wow.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I did."
Isn't that
He's like,
terrible?
"I know."
That's
He's like,
terrible. You
and
should have said, "Let's do it right now."
I
live.
did. I
Oh,
did.
You did.
I said, "I'll show you."
Oh.
Got a piece of paper and a pencil, and I real quickly drew a couple pine trees just like I did it,
Yeah.
and you can see, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's exactly how they look.
Huh.
Like, see, I did draw those pine trees.
Imagine nowadays, though. Imagine with AI, these young people who actually are smart, and their teachers are probably going, "You didn't write this." Oh, it must be terrible. I have never been accused of not doing my own work. They always look at my work and go, "Yeah, she probably screwed that up." Well, anyway. So I guess we've talked about enough, but I did bring these albums because that's what I think of too, especially once we're into the teenage years. It was all about listening to albums. I mean, you'd get a new album, you'd have either by yourself or you'd have a friend over or my sister or whatever and listen to the album over.
We have a little bit different experience when it comes to music.
Yeah.
Because in my house growing up, my parents did not listen to a lot of music. On road trips, my dad would listen to Roy Clark. At home, my mom would listen to Neil Diamond
Yeah.
and Johnny Mathis.
Still music.
But we didn't really listen to a lot of music, so I didn't listen to a lot of music growing up.
Yeah.
It wasn't until like the summer between 11th and 12th grade, my best friend, he bought records, and I'd go over to his house and start listening to records. I'd never bought a record.
Yeah.
So we're talking the summer of 1982 is really when I started listening to music. But you were listening to music before you were going into your senior year in high school.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like my parents.
Well, I did listen to radio.
We had a record player. My parents they were into Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. They'd dance. They'd like dance to Saturday Night Fever. And I just remember that my dad used to make it was a powdered mix for whiskey sour. He'd put it in the blender with the whiskey and blend that up before mom and dad would go out for the night, like on a date night. And they'd have whiskey sours and they'd listen to like maybe Nat King Cole or later the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. My dad would always play that on Saturday and Sunday mornings. Well, Saturday mornings, I guess. He'd get mad that us kids would sleep in so late. So he put a record player between our bedrooms, and he'd turn that on and start vacuuming at like 8 a.m. It was probably 10, but my memory is it was early. And we'd be like, stop it. And he'd be like, get up. But anyway.
My dad was the same way.
It was fun. He would be so mad we'd be sleeping and like that.
Right.
Which is understandable.
Okay. During the summertime, my dad would get up and go into work at like get up at 5 o'clock or whatever, go into 6 a.m. He's working the early shift at the Ford Motor Company.
Yeah.
And he'd come home for lunch at, 11 o'clock. Because he worked really close, like less than 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
He'd come home for lunch and we're still sleeping.
Yeah. That's
And
terrible.
he'd get so
I
mad.
could see that being annoying.
I mean, come on, we're kids. It's summertime. We
I know, but when you're working and you're like, and also like my dad would be like, why don't you do some jobs around the house? It was like, oh my gosh. All my friends had so many chores. I remember going home to my friend Karen's house, and before you could do anything, you had to vacuum, you had to dust every day. My mom didn't make us do that.
I've told you this story before, but we had chores. My mom worked part-time job.
Yeah.
And we had jobs like we had to vacuum the floor, rug, the carpeting, empty the dishwasher, and other chores, my brother and I. And my mom she's like, okay, here's your chores today. And I'm coming home at 5:30. And so we would just put off putting these chores.
Yeah.
And we look at the clock and it's like 5:25. Mom's going to be home in 5 minutes. And we would run around the house, vacuuming as fast as we could, emptying the dishwasher, doing all these things. And then she'd pull up and we'd just sit on the couch and go, oh.
Well, we each only had one chore. So a long time, mine was setting the table, and my brother's was taking out the garbage. And I think my sister's was doing laundry, which seems kind of unfair because I think that's a bigger job. But she liked it, I guess. But then I was like so mad because I had to set the table every single night. And he only had to take the garbage out like once a week. So I traded jobs with my brother. And setting the table's easy, FYI. But taking out the garbage for a family of 5 back then was like a major amount of work. And it would get dark, so it would be pitch black. And I'd have to go out there in the freezing cold. And it's the worst job in the world. But anyway, but as far as like cleaning the house goes, eventually, once my mom had a full-time job, she hired a cleaning lady.
Oh, we never had that.
And so
You
every
were
2
posh.
weeks, I know every 2 weeks the cleaning lady would come, and all my friends were like, "Oh my gosh, you're so rich." We thought we were like super wealthy because we had a cleaning lady. But I've always thought I should hire a cleaning lady. I hate cleaning. I hate it. I think my mom hated cleaning so much that she couldn't like force her kids to do it because she hated it.
Earlier in our conversation, we were talking about something that made me think of something like family vacations when you were a kid.
Yeah.
At some point, you get old enough where you don't want to go on family vacations.
You hate it.
And I don't know what age that is.
15.
I think it's when you're probably
14.
driving. You're probably old enough to drive, maybe like 15 or 16.
Yeah, right around there.
And the family's going on a family vacation. And you're like, I don't want to go. I want to stay home and, you know.
Yeah.
And boy, that's a big brouhaha.
Yeah.
That was like,
Yep.
because really, my parents were just going down to Tennessee to hang out with like
Old people.
old people. So the summer is like, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
And so I made a deal with my
and
dad.
you couldn't talk to your friends for all that time too. It was like being cut off from your whole world.
So I made a deal with my dad. I said, you know what? If I stay home, because the garage needed painting, I said, because paint was peeling off the garage. I said, I'll scrape the garage and I'll paint it.
That's pretty good.
He goes, okay. What a mistake.
All right. Huge
That
amount of
was.
work. Yeah.
First off, it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it was hot.
Yeah.
Really hot and humid. And I don't know. I put it off. And those things, like the last couple of days I'm out there scraping and painting like crazy. And I'm like, I should have just gone on vacation. Better than painting this garage.
Well, I have a similar story that it was while my brother was in college. So I must have been in high school by this time. And my parents were going on a vacation. And at this point, I think they realized we teenagers weren't going to go with them. So I think they started going out to Vegas. And they would play blackjack. And Vegas would offer them free rooms because this was like the late 80s. And so they ended up going out to Vegas quite a bit at that time because they'd get free rooms and free food and everything. Anyway, so my mom and dad wanted the windows all scraped and painted, which is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Like all this, but like the storm windows, I guess is what it was. But they were paned, so it was a ton. And I was like, and they were going to pay me, I forget, X amount of dollars per window. And it had to do with how many panes there were, how much they'd pay me. I forgot. My dad and I made some deal. And so I start doing this and I'm like, holy smokes, this is a ton of work. This is going to be so much work. So I figured out how much it was going to be. And my brother came over with all his nerd friends because he was, he had all the nerds. And I told the one guy, I'm like, hey, you want to make some money? I'll pay you.
Like Tom Sawyer.
I'll pay you to do all these windows. And I basically kept like $10 for myself and gave him 30 or what. I can't remember how it worked out, but it was like I made money, he made money.
Or is that Huckleberry Finn?
And he probably did. I'd never read He probably did a
Yeah.
lot better job than I would have done. But
Someone
anyway,
paint a fence. I forget who it was.
it came out as soon as they got home. My mom found out. My mom and dad found out.
Ah,
And guess what? They were like, smart. You're a real
very,
entrepreneur.
you're very resourceful. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I mean, why not? I know what else I just thought of the other things when I was even a little younger. One thing that we did that I don't think you did was my best friend Maureen, her brother John was a little bit older, and he got into Dungeons and Dragons. And so we'd go over there and play Dungeons and Dragons there was like one summer when we were heavy on Dungeons and Dragons, and that took up a lot of time. So that was one thing that we did for a summer.
Yeah, I never got
The
into
other
that.
thing was chess. Because I was thinking of my brother and all his nerd friends. They were all chess players, and my dad too. And so we'd all play chess. And I remember pretty clearly my brother was very good and playing with him all the time. And then the day that I beat him, like multiple games, he was like, I'm done playing chess with my little sister. I was like, what? How many years younger am I? 7?
And your brother?
Yeah.
More like 5, I thought.
Oh, I don't know. Is that right?
Or
Anyway.
just not, or less than 7, no.
But I was little compared to him.
More like
And I
3.
started beating him. But anyway, but that was like a whole summer of chess. I would study the books on how to
Oh,
play
right.
chess.
Maybe you are. Maybe he is much older than.
And
5.
then there was the time when he got the first computer. He was early into computers. And a home computer was pretty unusual. So we got a home computer, and I've said this before. I started learning basic programming. I wrote a whole fantasy program in BASIC at that time, and that took a lot of a summer. And then we started to get into video games, and we had Pong first, but then we got like the one you could put a cartridge in, and we had Centipede, Frogger, Baseball. I forget what else. So that was a whole like summertime thing. We'd play those games all the time.
Yeah.
So, video games came into play probably when I was like 12, I'm going to say. Would have been like 81, 82.
Video games are coming out when I was, but I never played
And
video
then
games.
to really play them, though, you'd go up to, there was a place called Space Station on Woodward Avenue in Detroit area, and we'd go up there, and, you had to have your quarters. But you could play Galaga and Defender, Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Frogger. I mean, that would be a whole day of fun. But most of the people there I was going with my brother. He'd take me he used to let me hang out. Like, he didn't mind that I was around for some reason. I don't know why. So I hung out with him a lot. I think my sister had gone away to college, maybe. But I'd hang out with him so I was hanging out with this older group of nerd guys at the arcade.
Yeah.
So I did that a lot.
Yeah, we go up to the corner 7-Eleven and sometimes play Defender.
Oh, you didn't have an arcade?
There was one a little bit further away to drive, but there was a couple games at the local 7-Eleven.
We had Space Station and Alligator Alley.
Defender.
So we'd go to those. And then we'd go to
Space.
Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
God, I loved Pizza Hut. They used to have a salad bar. Oh, my God. It was delicious.
I did not play video games. I did build models.
Yeah, I never did that.
I did build a lot of plastic models and build like tanks and airplanes and cars and stuff. And it was really weird. I spent all this time building these models and they looked great. And then I devised these ways of destroying them, blowing them up with firecrackers and
Oh, my God.
melting
Such a
them,
boy thing to
melting them with heat.
Devise ways to
Destroy them, right? Yeah. How can
I do feel like
blow
that
this
was
thing
probably
up.
a wintertime activity. Would you say? Building model, because I feel like in the winter, my brother and I, like, we built like a cat house for our kitty cat, an outdoor one that looked like Snoopy's house. We built a cat scratch post for our cat. One time we used toothpicks to build the whole manger scene and the main the nativity scene in the manger and all the animals out of toothpicks. That was a long project. We had a pool table in the basement. We'd play pool a lot. I don't know. I guess we didn't do models, but we built stuff a lot. Building was a big thing.
Yeah, I used to make stuff, build stuff.
I'm trying to think what else we built. Like all kinds of stuff. My dad built a car one time that he drove.
Wow.
Yeah.
It worked, huh?
Yeah, when he was in college. He'd drive it between Virginia Tech and where my mom was going to school. Radford. Not Radford. Yeah.
I guess I used to help my dad do some projects around the house, occasionally fix things and stuff.
Yeah. My dad built some additions on our house, so we'd help out with that.
I think your dad kind of knew what he was doing a little bit more than my dad. My dad didn't. When it came to certain jobs, he didn't.
Follow code.
He in our garage, he was trying to make some extra space, so he built this loft thing at the top of the garage.
Oh, yeah.
And looking back now, it was totally not safe at all. It just was not built. Proper construction techniques were not used. He just would bolt a 2x4 to a 2x4 on the roof, and the weight would split the 2x4s. And as kids, we'd go up there and play up there.
Yeah.
Oh, that thing could come collapsing down at any second. I looked at that later on when I was older, and I said, "Oh my gosh, this thing is designed completely wrong."
Yeah.
I mean, my dad was a metal bodybuilder, or metal worker at Ford, so he knew a lot about metal.
Yeah.
But not so much about wood.
I don't really know how my dad knew how to do construction. I think he just read these kind of books.
Yeah, he just figured it out.
Because he was an engineer, but more like car. But he built so many additions and porches. He built the addition on our house. How many additions have we built with Dad? Like 5 or 6, I think. Big construction.
I mean, I helped your dad build 2 big additions.
No, 3. You built the garage at his farm.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
which is, by the way, huge.
I remember. Yeah,
the addition on his house, the addition on our
and
house,
then the big huge garage. Yeah, so I helped him with 3 projects.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
It is good to do that kind of stuff. Though. Anyway, that's off.
All
right.
Well, I had a couple more. Made me think of a couple things. We're talking about shared experiences and music and stuff.
Yeah.
Radio stations in Detroit.
Yeah.
We all listen to the same radio stations.
Oh yeah.
The rock stations was
Wheels,
and Riff, WRIF.
And then later, WHYZ, Hot Hits.
WHYT.
WHYT, Hot Hits. WHYT, yeah.
So we all listened. We hear the kind of the same music, and then the commercials were always not just radio commercials, but TV commercials.
Oh yeah. Everybody knew the same. Yeah.
But it was definitely different than it is today.
Yeah. It's a different world, and there's good and bad of all of it, I mean,
I wouldn't trade it though.
well, no.
I mean, I would not want to, as a kid, a teenager, I would not want to grow up with social media and texting and email and constantly be in contact with all my friends every second of the day. No.
But the boredom could get a little annoying.
I didn't get bored that often.
You don't get bored. You just don't. I get bored.
I didn't get bored very often.
No.
Rare occasions. I'd always find something to do.
Yeah.
But just not having anything structured
No, but I wouldn't trade it. Social media is scary for kids. I think if I had a kid, I'd try my best to keep them off that as long as possible. And I know there's no way around it. But even as a parent, it's a different world for parents, I don't know. Like back when our parents, they didn't care what other parents were doing. You know what I mean? Like now there's so much pressure for parents to be as good as these other parents or like them, or I don't know what. I can't even understand it. like when I talk to our niece, who's now a mom, there are certain rules she feels like she has to follow. I'm like, you don't have to do that. Do what you want.
I don't even know
I
what.
know.
At what age do kids get cell phones now?
Well, that's the thing. I don't
I guess
know.
different parents have different.
But it's hard to not have them on it because you can't track them, and they don't have any connectivity. I mean, people want to be able to be in touch with their kids now, understand.
So when your kid
Yeah.
leaves, you can. I mean, if you want, you can
can
track them
track
on the
'em.
phone, and you
Yeah.
can text them and
Know where they are all the time.
every second of the day.
Can you imagine? That would be
Oh my
horrible.
gosh, as a
I
kid-
would have gone crazy if my parents could have tracked me when I was a teenager
I
all
mean-
the time. And if they were like, "Why are you there? I'd be like, "Bug off."
Parents.
I would have
said-
thrown the phone in the. I'm surprised kids are willing to carry phones. I'd be like, I'm leaving my phone behind.
Oops, that's my phone. The parents didn't know. Didn't know where we were, what we were doing.
I don't know. It's such a different world. I don't know. I feel bad.
I do. I wouldn't. I do. I wouldn't want to be a kid today with all the.
No.
And I think it's, like I said, we're not going to go down this road of AI, but I don't know. It's going to get worse.
I don't know. Yeah, let's not go down that road.
I am interested in that subject, so we'll have to do a video on some of that because
Yeah.
I find it both fascinating.
Yeah.
It is fascinating, but also scary at the same time.
Yes.
But it's interesting.
Different worlds. Like every generation has different stuff to deal with, man.
Right.
But hopefully they all look back on their time and go, I lived in a better time. Or I had a nice time. You know what I mean? Like hopefully everybody thinks that.
Synchronicity. Yeah, this is X. This was a punk rock band from L.A., Los Angeles.
X.
Billy Zoom. Men at Work, that's yours.
Business as usual. You too. I think Synchronicity and Men at Work are mine. And these two are yours.
Yeah.
Yours are probably a little older, maybe, than mine. I don't know. This is such a good album right here. Oh my God. I have to go listen to it right now. Anyway. All right. Well,
Okay.
thanks for hanging out.
And you have the telephone here.
You know, I have the telephone. I have the skinny Capri cigarettes. They were skinny for women to smoke. You can't smoke a regular cigarette.
It reminds me of
Your menthol. Yes.
growing up. The first time we got some new technology. Oops, I hit the camera by mistake. Like when we got caller ID
Yeah.
for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was like.
We'd never paid for it.
Was
We never
big.
had it.
It was much later, but we got caller ID. You could actually see who was calling.
Well, I remember when my friend Katie got cable. We didn't have cable.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we had an antenna. We were like, what? And she could watch MTV. We'd go over there and watch MTV.
Oh yeah. My friends got cable way before we did.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember when we first got a microwave for the first time.
Oh, yeah. And you tried cooking like a whole turkey in it.
I think
So
microwaves. I think microwaves had been out for a while probably before my parents finally bought one.
I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, I do remember getting it. This needs cleaning. It's like sticking. Anyway. Yeah, you could go on. We could go on about this forever.
You could forever. Yeah, let's just talk about this and that. But
I'm sure we've put to sleep anybody who. There's no way anyone's still listening. All right. Talk to you guys later.
okay.
Bye.